Today we're taking a look at the rising inequality in Australia. The leader of the Greens, Adam Bandt, has accused Labor of becoming a centre-right government, making decisions Scott Morrison would have been proud of after it ruled out any substantial rise to unemployment benefits. The government has been forced to admit that $40 a day isn't enough to live on. For single parents, the situation can be even more dire, since the single parent payment has been cut by the government. The Economic Inclusion Advisory Committee that Labor set up recently released a report recommending the government substantially lift Jobseeker, concluding it had fallen so far below a livable level that it has become a barrier to paid work. But instead, the government has talked of implementing the recommendations when it could, while also investing in submarines, Stage 3 tax cuts for the wealthy and handouts for fossil fuels. Not surprisingly, this has angered Bandt and other progressive advocates, who point out that there are single mums couch surfing with kids right now, and kids without enough healthy food to eat, while the government fails to lift them out of poverty. Liberal Senator Jane Hume went as far as to argue that a 40% increase to Jobseeker would be inflationary and economically irresponsible. But charities and welfare advocates, as well as key crossbenchers, have all called for Jobseeker rate to be increased, arguing that the majority of people on unemployment and parenting payments are living in poverty. The Women's Economic Equality Task Force Chair, Sam Mostyn, remains hopeful that the single-parent payment will be restored by the government in the budget, noting that such payments should be seen as investments in half of our population that actually hold up the whole show. The question remains whether our government truly wishes to end the current level of inequality. If it truly wanted to make a real difference, it would consider restoring the single pay rate and substantially lifting Jobseeker. This would lift hundreds of thousands of Australians out of poverty and make sure that those who have lost their jobs in the pandemic don't face an even greater burden. It would also reduce the suffering of kids who don't have enough to eat, and single mums who are couch surfing. As citizens of Australia, we demand that our government take steps to end the inequality in our society. We need to fight for a more just and equitable society, where politicians favour the welfare of hard-working Australians, rather than handouts to the wealthy. Let's come together and call for a fairer Australia for all.